Now guys, welcome to my YouTube channel named Beginner's Education. Today we have to find the equation to calculate the derivative of e sin x e to the power sin x by using first principle, simply definition. So first of all we calculate let fx is equal to e to the power sin x. Also equation 1. Also h be the small increment in x. Then you can write f x plus h is equal to e to the power sin x plus h. Now we have 2 d by dx fx is equal to f limit h tends to 0 f x plus h minus fx but h. You know it from definition d by dx fx is equal to limit fx plus h minus fx divided by h. Then d by dx fx means e to the power sin x, the limit h tends to 0 f x plus h means e to the power sin x plus h minus fx. Fx means simply e to the power sin x divided by h. We can add this. It is be equation number 2. It will be what? Equation number 2. Then we have to put sin x. Sin x is equal to y. Sin x is equal to y. Put sin x is equal to y. Then sin x plus s is equal to y plus k. What do we have to put? Sin x is equal to y. So sin x plus s equals to y plus k. Where is k is? K is a small change in y. A small change in y. K is what? A small change in y. Then k is equal to, if you have to calculate the value of k, then k is equal to what? Sin x plus h minus y. Then k is equal to what? Sin x plus h minus y. Here it becomes simply sin x plus h, y means sin x. What? Y means sin x. As h tends to 0, k also tends to what? 0. ऐसा म यहाँ h को भ्यालु 0 राख्छु भने k को भ्यालु पनि के भइहाल्छ? 0 भइहाल्छ. त्यसपछि equation number 2 it becomes, then equation 2 becomes, so equation 2 becomes what? Becomes d by dx e to the power sin x is equal to limit what? Limit h tends to 0 e, as it is sin x plus h. We have to calculate the sin value of sin x plus h is equal to y plus k. So write here y plus k minus e at is sin x. Sin x means what? Y. Sin x means y, and divided by h. Simply, so Let me erase it. It's not easy. Erase it. Okay. You simply limit s tends to 0. Limit s tends to 0. You write e to power k in e to power k y as a common. E to power y as a common. It's become e to the power k minus 1 divided by h. No? Okay. Then e to the power y is here as a common. Limit s tends to 0. E to the power k minus 1. E to the power k minus 1 divided by k into k by h. Can write this? We have to make this formula as it is. As limit x tends to 0. E to the power x minus 1 divided by x is equal to 1. Is what? X, so is also x. Is what? K. So it must be also what? K. It's e to the power y. As you know, if s tends to 0, then k also tends to 0. Limit k tends to 0. E to the power k minus 1 divided by k into k by h. Is that is e to the power y. This changes into formula. What's formula? 1. So 1 into k upon h. K upon what? H. This is limit. Yes, limit h tends to 0. Limit h tends to 0. And some of the clear ones. So like, okay, then next step is e to the power y. Limit h tends to 0. K upon h. E to the power y. Limit h tends to 0. You have calculated the value of k. What is the value of k? Look in the previous. Sin x plus h minus sin x divided by h. After that, cosine. Now, sin c minus sin d is equal to 2 cos c plus d by 2 into sin c minus d by 2. You know this formula very well. This is c, this is your d. E to the power y, limit h tends to 0, sin c minus sin d. Simply 2 cos x plus h plus x divided by 2 into sin x plus h minus x by 2 and over divided by h. Got it? Marker is getting less. So after that, it's become e to the power y, limit h tends to 0, 2 cos 2x plus h divided by 2. It's become sin h by 2. Is also h. So it's e to the power y, limit h tends to 0. Limit h tends to 0. 2 cos 2x plus h divided by 2 into sin. Here is what? H. So h by 2. H by 2. By 2 into 1 by 2. 1 by 2. these two becomes cancelled. E to the power y, put the value of x as cos 2x plus 0 divided by 2. It's become value 1. It's become value 1. E to the power y cos x. It means e to the power sin x. E to the power sin x cos x into cos x. So final result is 4d upon dx e to the power sin x derivative is equal to e to the power sin x into cos x. Okay, and this become value, you know that limit x tends to 0, sin x divided by x is equal to 1. There is x, there is also x. There is what? Our x by 2, so I put here x by 2. But we have to add it with ourselves, so we have to multiply by 1 by 2. And this 2 becomes cancel. You put the x, you have some put someone, you have 0. The cos 2x by 2 means cos x, and this value becomes simply what? 1 according to this formula. So e to the power y cos x. So y means you have read that y means what? E to the power sin x into cos x. Therefore d upon dx e to the power sin x is equal to e to the power sin x into cos x. This is your answer. Okay. Hope you all get understand by this using video. Very long important questions. It is asking every year in class 12, so I must pay attention of that questions. Thank you.